Political power is the master key of all locks. This famous quote was given by the founder president of Mongol National Organization, Immortal Dr. Gopal Gurung. Hello everyone, welcome back to Mongol Srijana YouTube channel. I am Srijana Gurung. Today I came with very new different topics. In this today's program, I am going to read a very famous book, Hidden Facts in Nepalese Politics, which was written by the founder president of Mongol National Organization, Immortal Dr. Gopal Gurung. So by the title of this book, we had already knew that today I am going to talk about a political topics. Actually, this is the English version of Nepali Rajniti Ma Dekha Sachai. If you want the Nepali version of these books, you can check it out on Gurkhas Online TV YouTube channel, where you can find out all the Nepali version of these books, videos, and also you can find out others English as well as Nepali version of others books videos written by Dr. Gopal Gurung. So before starting our today's program, I want to give you some short information related to this book. After the publication of second edition of this books in 1988 in Nepal, the author of these books, Mr. Gopal Gurung, had been arrested by a panchayat government based on the charge on racial discrimination against the Hindu ruler and politician. He was arrested under a Two-State Offence Act at a time and sent him to the prison for 3 years without any adequate charge sheet. So I request to everyone, to every people, please watch this video until the end, because this is the one and only book which reveals the hidden facts in Nepalese politics, where you can find out how the 20% Hindu are in races of people dominating, ruling and discriminating over the 80% non-Hindu indigenous Mongol people of Nepal, which seems to be bitter, but this is the bitter truth in Nepal. Without any delay, let's begin our today's program. This is the 7th edition in 2020. Written by Dr. Gopal Gurung, founder, president, Mongol National Organization, MNO Central Assembly @gmail.com, info@mongolvision.com, address MNO Central Assembly, Kathmandu, Nepal, post box number 2828, Kathmandu, Nepal. Computer setting was by Lasimhang Tawa Limbu, first edition 1985, second edition 1988, third edition 1993, fourth edition 1994, fifth edition 1998, sixth edition 2006, and this last edition is 7th edition is 2020. This book's price Indian Rs 100 and Nepali Rs 150. Translated by Bhimsen Deusa Rai, Kathmandu, Nepal, and published by Mankumar Lungfungwa Limbu. Now he lives in Hong Kong. Preface. Mr. Gopal Gurung, the author of this book, was arrested by the Panchayat government on the 30th of August 1988. Just after the publication of the second edition in 1988, based on the charge on racial discrimination against the Hindu rulers and politicians. He was arrested under the Two-State Offence Act at a time and was sent to the Bhadragul jail for 3 years without any adequate charge sheet. In the jail, there was no separate cell for the political prisoners and had to share the room with other criminals. He was given 700 grams of coarse rice and 4 rupees per day, nearly 10 cents for minimal subsistence. On 1st January 1989, he established his political organization, Mongol National Organization, along with its own flag and manifesto. During his stay in jail, he was not sound in health, and any prolonged confinement in the unhealthy atmosphere at the jail would have badly deteriorated his physical condition. But luckily, after the abrogation of the one-party panchayat system, a multi-party system came into existence and people became free from the bondage of the arbitrary panchayat government. Consequently, Mr. Gopal Gurung and many other political prisoners were released unconditionally. Mr. Gurung was released on the 13th of April 1990, he spent 1 year and 8 months in jail. During his stay in the jail, he received much support from journalists, writers, and other well-wishers, not only from his homeland but also from abroad. PEN and Amnesty International London, Amnesty International Denmark, Press Foundation of Asia Manila, Philippines, All India Journalists Council, India, and many others had corresponded on the government level of his early release along with their human rights efforts. A chain of letters poured in from the well-wishers of Nepal, India, Indonesia, Norway, France, and Denmark. A host of people of Buddhist and Christian religions pray for his sound health and early release. Here are some of the experts of these letters. I hope it will be possible for you in 1992. Leave prison as a free man. Mrs. Lon Hindu, Lord Mayor, Aarhus, Denmark. The hardship of your imprisonment have not affected your courage and determination to fight for your humanistic ideals. I want you to accept my admiration for what you did, not only to your own country, but also to the human rights all over the world. Crystal Megan, Copenhagen, Denmark. From an Amnesty newsletter, I had already learned that the wonderful news that you had been released from prison, and I can't tell you how happy I was. Gittelingen Fensen Order, Denmark. If there is anything we can do to the supplement the prison diet, please let us know. We had not realized that Nepal is so divided racially. K.V. Simpson, Penn, London. I wrote all your names on a piece of a paper and carried it in my bronze, which I had all around my neck. Each time I held it in my hand, I was thinking about you and prayed that you are all right. Anette Loe, Havelodden, Denmark. People now discuss whether the Danish Queen should have invited your king for a state visit, which took place last year. I encourage you to keep on working with your new book. You know that your release and work now has been described in Amnesty International magazine. Frederick Franz, Hoglundus, Usen, Denmark. We would like you to know that you will not be forgotten even though Nepal and Denmark are far away from each other. We are still working on your case and a lot of people have heard about you already. On behalf of Amnesty International Group, Annie Pedersen, Odense, Denmark. Hopefully 1990 will be the year where you will be able to leave prison and start a new life as a free man. I am 13 years old, Renate Evergen, Denmark. You will be allowed to live as a free man in 1990. Henne Viscard, Paris. We are some students from a school in Denmark. We have heard about you from the teachers. We are looking forward to hear from you, Eva and Nina. These above experts are just a few drops of a pond. It shows how the prison world responds on humanistic grounds towards the good cause of a freedom fighter. They know Mr. Gopal Gurung's struggle is not a communal one, and their support is for universally approved human rights, democracy, and freedom. So, Hidden Facts in Nepalese Politics is a sort of pavement for the manifesto of his newly formed political organization, Mongol National Organization, Bhimsen Deusarai. How this book was written. At first, I love to call myself as a Nepali. But when I travel extensively in Nepal to the villages of Thamu, Gurung, Mogar, Sherpa, Tamang, Tharu, Dhimal, Limbu, Rai, Koche and studied their condition and unwritten history to my dismay. I found these peoples neglected in every respect in every part of the nation. Some households were always under the yoke of poverty and they were always in debt, even though their 5 or 6 family members were serving as mercenaries in foreign countries. I found the aboriginal Mongol tribes of Nepal, who were crushed and dominating, to be backward in every political, economical, religious, educational and cultural aspect. The CDO of the district, who are appointed mostly from Bahun and Chetri castes, is other civil servants of all government offices are mostly favored and selected from these two castes, discriminated against the children of the retired soldier from these Mongol tribes by not giving them their rights or their citizenship. Even in school admission for these children was not encouraged. Ironically, myself, I had been known as a brave Gurkha, even though I had been from one of these neglected Mongol tribes. Now, however, I feel proud to call myself as a Tamu Gurung rather than a Nepali. A few years back, I was invited to deliver a speech during a program in Gurung community in Butol. An old Tamu Gurung people was carried there from a remote Parbat district by his son. The route was a long walk of many days. The old person was an ex-soldier of pre-independent India. He was over 100 years old. Can you imagine how much his pension was? It was unbelievable but true. He was getting only 5 rupees per month. He sacrificed his valuable life for others sick in foreign land and came back to Nepal earning a pension of only 5 rupees per month. I met another ex-serviceman in Dharan in 1963. He was a Limbu, a Mongol. I felt 2 bullets near his temple with my own hands and asked him, "Do they hurt you?" He said, "No. During Nepal's independence struggle of 1950, so many Mongol people of Nepal died for their country. Many became physically disabled. Many were brutally jailed, but these Mongols are not mentioned in Nepal's history. Funds were not raised for their families, nor was the question of erecting any memorials for their shoulder. In the long run, I came to know that the image inside Nepal was not same as it looked from outside of Nepal. The Gorkha force is one of the main sources of foreign currency in Nepal, for it's bring in around 10,000 million rupees every year. But the Gorkha soldiers are neglected in every respect. They have no good schools and lack road facilities in their villages. Even though 20% of the total population of Nepal is the Hindus, they hold 60% of the total land, whereas aboriginal Mongol people have about 7% of the total land for their livelihood. You can count on your fingers the number of those neglected people holding high prestigious ranks in government and even in the domestic forces like army and police. Even these few examples can provide the sad picture of our reality. Once I gave a complimentary copy of New Light weekly paper to a well-known Bahun poet who I used to respect very much. But he suddenly flared up saying, "Why on earth is the Gurung publishing a paper? Your race is meant for handling bows, arrows and rifles." I was shocked and reiterated back something before leaving him. An intellectual, political figure and economist Bahun once had consulted another Bahun about a certain development program on a remote hilly area, said that a road should never be built in an area where there are no Bahun and Chetri settlements, because to open good roads in the place of the Bhotis, Mongols, is like cutting off one's leg. There are so many examples of such favoritism and nepotism. The Bahun and Chetri keep aside even their mutual struggle for power and collaborate together to suppress our people. Such instances make me inwardly rebellious. They will continue to treat us inhumanly unless our Mongol people wake up their fights for their rights. So I have taken off my pain to fight this racial battle, even though they have often imputed and intimidated me by phone calls and later under fictitious name. A freedom fighter of the democratic movement of 1950 had taken a photo of himself with King Tribhuvan and had it hanging in his room. He was sincerely serving and handling his government office with great efficiency. But his post was sacked just before a few months of his retiring date just because he was one of our people. At that time, Kirtinidhi Bista was the PM of Nepal. After retirement, the poor old man had to survive under the shelter of others. Then he became sick and died on the footpath. A book of record can be published if we call it such tragic events as this reflect our past, present and future. So I am writing and sprinting as best I can about the hidden facts of exploitation, suppression and deprivation against our race by the caste. Let's pronounce we are not more blindfolded, dumb and coward. This book is a compilation of a series of editorials written and published in the New Light Weekly from September 1984 to February 1985. Now I am so happy to let the readers know that the readers of Gorkha Battalion in Borneo rapidly paid even 110 Borneo dollar for a single copy of these books, whereas the cost of this second edition was only rupees 25 Nepali currency. Since the book was not available to many interested readers, some of them distributed photocopies of these books and some even copied the books with their own handwriting. Readers and booksellers face torture of the police in different parts of the country. So far, I have received thousands of appreciation letters from the readers. This book is still banned in Sikkim, the 22 state of India. Some of the bound paper criticized badly and advised to the government of Panchayat system to keep me jail for a long time. One of them is the Minister Ramchandra Paudel is present government and the other is one of the advisor Jai Prakash Ananda of the Prime Minister G.P. Koirala. At last, I would like to extend my cordial thanks to Ratan Gurung Tamu, one of the Vice President of All India Gurung Tamu Association, Darjeeling Captain Padam Gurung Volbhari Rupandehi. His name was published Bol Bahadur Gurung in the third edition of Nepali by mistake. B.K. Rai, Gantok Sikkim and Vim Deusha Rai, translator of these books for their assistance. Gopal Gurung, Kathmandu, June 1994. Before the compromise of the two leaders, Manmohan Adhikari and Sahana Pradhan, the Communist Party of the Nepal had been split into 22 factions. Manmohan's political alignment was towards Moscow, although he had visited Beijing for medical treatment. Later, he justified his intention to visit Moscow by spreading a rumor that he was going to visit Moscow in the near future on the grounds of needing medical treatment, and to support his justification, he held a joint meeting of different factions of the Communist Party in Biratnagar and later in Gorakhpur, where he indicated his pro-Moscow inclination. No one could believe his statement and said his intention were still to be in alignment with China. He strewed stance was neither on this side nor that side. At last, he visited Moscow but not on medical ground. His political maneuver on 11th August 1984 for coalescing the different factions of the communist parties under one assembly in order to exchange of ideas was significant, because the Panchayat system had been previously benefited by too many factions in the parties and it was enjoining a divide and rule policy. The communist faction led by Manmohan, Sahana Pradhan, Nirmal Lama, Krishnaraj Burma, Tulsi Lal Amatya, Siddhilal Singh, Malaya and some other major leaders of other factions had participated in the Biratnagar meeting. excluding the pro-Russian Kesar Jangaraimazi group that had aligned itself with the Panchayat system from the very beginning, and Mohan Vikram Gurung, which had already secretly been affiliated with the Panchayat system in its every activities. Many pro-Chinese communist parties prefer to choose the line of the pro-Russian Communist Party as a result of this meeting. Beside these parties, a group of radical communists was attached to the Panchayat system, and this Pancha communist group was working actively within the framework of one-party Panchayat system. Despite the fact that the above joint meeting had acted as a common arena for the change of the leaders' view, it did not prove their readiness to join together for revolution. If they all started agitation against the Panchayat system unitly, then the Congress party would ally itself with the Panchayat system in order to strike back against the communists. Two factions of the Congress party had already joined the Panchayat system, deserting their own group primarily because of the racial discrimination. The Panchayat and the Congress alliance could get along together better than a Panchayat and Communist alliance. In spite of this, to create a greater force against the Panchayat party, which claimed to be the only authentic, flawless democratic party, both the Communist and Congress parties should have united together to bring the dawn of the multi-party system in Nepal. But the so-called iron pillar of the Congress and the Panchayat parties consider themselves to be the pioneers of the Hindu religion by contributing sacred donation of their Indian Hindu counterparts. They declare Nepal is only Hindu kingdom of the world, but I would say the lonely and the last Hindu kingdom, the communal pioneers of the Panchayat system and the allied leader of the prohibited Congress party and even the radical communist leader have a mutual understanding and parallel dialogue in such a racial issues. Their ideologies never contracted in such a communal matter. The Congress party seemed to be divided into two factions, comprising Krishna Prasad Bhattarai in one faction and Girija Prasad Koirala in another. Pro-Panchayat faction Koirala's political dream would come to the end if he had complied with ruling party. His other communist faction had merged themselves into oblivion. This much for today. If you like these videos, please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe my YouTube channel. Promising you to bring the remaining parts of this book's videos in another episode. Till then, stay home, stay safe. Thank you. Have a good day.